What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the live stream. It's been I can't complain. It's been an actually pretty laid back week this week. So let me know in the comments really quick what the audio levels sound like, since we did make some adjustments last week. It looks like everything's doing okay. How's it going, everybody? Thanks for joining us on the live stream. We already got some guys in here. So we got Richard. Hey, Brian, how's your week? What type of equipment did you get to run? How are things with the kids and the wife? Did you get to break up anything equipment-wise? Woo! Richard, you're firing off with quite a few questions right off the get-go, and I like it. So we will start at the beginning. My week was good. It was actually a pretty laid-back week. So because of this big thing that I continue to allude to that I'm still not able to talk about, I am going to be out of town coming up for a couple weeks here. And so I have gotten all of my stuff like 4 weeks out in advance. So I am currently scheduling YouTube videos for like mid-November, late November. And thank you, Richard, by the way, for the audio update. Basically, I'm so far out on all of my videos that this week was a super laid-back week. I actually got to go out, and I talked about it last week, which is I'm assuming is why you're asking about the wife and kids. I had COVID, and so we were still in quarantine this week. So I got to go up. We took the kids. My youngest got a new bike this week, so we took him up to the high school empty parking lot where there weren't any people around. Let him ride the bike. He was thrilled to death. We've been doing that. Sitting around the house playing games together and spending time together as a family. So it's been a super laid back but very fulfilling week, because honestly, I've talked about it a number of times on my channel before. The whole reason I started doing this is so that I could spend more time with the family. So this was an awesome week. Didn't run any equipment this past week because of the fact that, winter, or I should say fall, is officially here in Michigan. We've been having we've had super wet weather for a while now, but we got our official first frost last night. Highs were in I want to say the high today was like 48, 47, somewhere in there. So we're officially in fall. So everything's slowing down from a work standpoint. Rick had a couple little dinky jobs that he didn't really need my help on, and I was in quarantine anyway, so I'm not going to go run equipment when I'm in quarantine. So it was a really laid back, nice week. That was actually a really nice week. So thanks for asking. How was your week, Richard, and what did you have going on, and what kind of equipment were you running? Let me know. Jonathan, what's up, Brian? How you been doing? Good, as I just kind of talked about and rehashed. In fact, tonight we are celebrating. All I had in the house tonight was a Malbec, which, if you are not a wino, Malbecs are pretty stinking heavy. This is not a great sipping wine, but it is what it is. This is what we're drinking tonight. But tonight we are celebrating my last day in quarantine before I get to be released back into the wild, like one of the fledgling penguins that you affectionately see on so many nature videos. That will be me tomorrow, as my handlers will release me from my cage back out into the great ocean of equipment operators. So tonight we drink to that, because as nice as it's been being around the house and everything, don't get me wrong, I've really enjoyed my time. I would like to see people and not be stuck in my house. So yeah, it's been a good week. Let's see here. Great video about the dump trucks and dozer operators. Thank you. I'm getting a ton of it's really funny, because you guys have seen the variety of content that I put out on my channel. It always seems like the most basic, straightforward videos in my mind. This is where, having been in the industry for a long time, to me, these are kind of just small little building blocks, but those seem to be the most impactful videos to you guys. And I'm thrilled about that. I really am. I'm excited that you guys are really, that's really touching, a nerve with you guys. I really am glad. And along those lines, continue to give me video ideas. If there's something that you would like to know more about, I listen, believe it or not, I listen to all of the video ideas submitted, even if I don't come out with it right away. Like I just got through saying, I'm editing videos right now that are not going to drop until like the middle to late November. So, and that's the ones I'm editing. These aren't even ones I've shot. If I shoot something tomorrow, it's not going to post up for like a month and a half. So all that to say, even if I don't get to your idea immediately, I do listen to video ideas. I do put them on a list. Wow, how rude. My phone's going off in the middle of a live stream. How unbelievably rude. Sorry, I'm sorry. So unprofessional. Anyway, but absolutely, if you guys have more questions, if I'm getting too advanced in my videos and you want me to drop back to like some basic building blocks, don't be ashamed to ask. Let me know, because I'd be more than happy to do some videos on it. So all that to say, thank you for the compliment on the video. Bacon, you did make it. God damn it, I'm proud of you, man. Hang on, I gotta get my sound effect. Where is it? Yes, gotta love the sound effects. I absolutely love the sound effects on this thing. I'm very proud of you for making it, Bacon. You're the man. Let's see here, Ryan. What's going on? Looks like a wet week coming up. Yeah, yep. So Rick and I actually are planning on probably trying to knock out like 3 or 4 podcasts actually between Monday and Tuesday. We're gonna try to knock out a couple, which so let me just back up. I know the comments are rolling here. I'm gonna get to you guys, I promise, but I have a couple just housekeeping things I want to talk about. First of all, if you guys are not familiar with Tenacious D, and yes, I am talking about the band Tenacious D, you need to get familiar with Tenacious D because it's incredible. If you know who Jack Black is, it's Jack Black and his friend Kyle. You want to talk about just comedic genius paired with unbelievable raw music talent. Like, that's what Tenacious D is if you're not familiar. Sweet Jesus, we're gonna turn this off because that's distracting and I can't have that. Anyway, go check out Tenacious D if you don't know who they are, because you will get not only a great laugh, but like, they are stellar musicians. I absolutely love their music because of the fact that not only are they just funny, they have outstanding musical talent. All that to say, the link that I've pinned up above has nothing to do with anything Diesel and Iron. It is Tenacious D went on Hot Ones, which if you haven't seen Hot Ones, it is a show on YouTube where Sean, the host, brings on celebrities, and he has had hundreds of celebrities on this thing. From I want to say Alec Baldwin's been on it, Jessica Alba. You've got Tenacious D, which is the one I linked to. You've had Jeff Goldblum. Like, he brings on so many stars, and then they sit and they eat a pallet of hot wings that get progressively hotter as they go. And we're not talking like sort of hot. We're talking like unbelievably, ungodly, melt your face off hot. And they carry a conversation while they're doing it. It's fantastic. Sean is one of the best interviewers I have ever seen in my life. He asks absolutely incredible questions, and it really humanizes the people, because the focus isn't on putting on a display of being professional, because when you're eating these melt your face wings, you can't be professional. You're snotting all over, their tears streaming down their face, like they're in true pain. And so it's a really, really awesome show. So I just got through watching the one with Tenacious D. I was laughing the whole time, just because Jack Black and Kyle do such a phenomenal job on that show. And so all that to say, after the live stream, when you're done here and you decide to move on with your evening, or you want something in your cab while you're waiting on trucks, absolutely check out the link. It's a phenomenal episode. I highly recommend it. So that's number one, the link up above. Second housekeeping thing is, as always, I don't like to talk about it a whole lot, but at the same time, I don't think so many people are aware of it. You can absolutely head over to dieselandironproductions.com. I have merchandise for sale there. Or if you notice, you should be noticing now, I have set up Teespring to where underneath my YouTube videos, there should be a little shelf with merchandise. Merchandise is available for sale. I did not plan to do that, believe it or not. I did not wear a zip-up hoodie to do that, but by God, we're going to take advantage of it. This badass shirt right here could be yours if you just head on over to dieselandironproductions.com. Anyway, that's it. I'm not going to plug my merch anymore. I'm sorry, guys. You'll have to forgive me. But that's the next item on my agenda for to do. And then the last is Sweat and Grime. So if you weren't here last week or you were not familiar, Rick and I started a podcast. It is called Sweat and Grime. In fact, let me just go up here and I'm going to link the Spotify, because I don't know, I feel like more people on here would have Spotify than iTunes, but it's available on iTunes. It's available on Pocket Casts, any podcasting application you can think of. We actually have, you can find us, Sweat and Grime. Forgive me, we're still getting over the COVID. So let me link this down below. Boom, there it is. I just put it in the comments. Check out Sweat and Grime. We're getting really positive feedback from guys. The whole goal is to have kind of Howard Stern, Joe Rogan kind of loose feel. Obviously, don't go into it thinking you're going to get that kind of quality because it's me and Rick, so cut us some slack. But the whole idea is have something loosely geared at the trades and the trades in general. But we're gonna cover a smattering of topics. We're gonna bullshit together. We're just gonna. It's something entertaining for you to listen to. Hopefully a little thought provoking as well, so that it's not just monotonous, fart jokes all the time. Not that there's anything wrong with that if that's up your alley, but my goal is to get a little more in depth. But all that to say, we've got Aaron Witt coming on here the end of this week. We've got Aaron Witt that's coming on. I have the VP of the equipment. The Association of Equipment Distributors. He is one of the DC mouthpieces that is speaking directly to legislators. We're going to have him on talking about the infrastructure bill. I've got another guest coming on at a future date that is going to be talking about workforce development and just how we are grooming the next generation to come into the trades. I'm going to have plumbers, framers, iron workers. Like, we're getting guests on from all the different trades to talk about all the different trades. So all that to say, we should, in theory, if we do our job right, have some interesting things for you guys to listen to. And again, kind of my whole goal is to give you a little thought-provoking conversation for you to kind of break up your day. So that's the last of the housekeeping stuff. Now we're going to go back and start hitting the comments. I apologize for all of that, sort of. Not really. Damn it, I'm offering a free service. Why should I apologize for advertising my shit to you guys? I still feel bad. I'm sorry. Anyways, back to the comments, baby. Back to the comments. Let's see here. Audio's going good. We got that. Milton Escobar, salary for a dozer excavator off-road truck driver. Milton, if no one has answered you yet, I apologize for taking so long. Totally depends. Totally depends on where you are. Totally depends on whether you're union or non-union. Depends on how much time you got in the industry. There's so many factors in that. So here's my range. Anywhere from $12 an hour to roughly 40 something an hour. I'm sorry I can't be more helpful, but there's just a huge range. It also depends on what country you're from. I don't, I'm assuming you're from the US, but you might not even be from the US. So, wages are going to fluctuate there as well. So that's a really hard thing to nail down and really give you a definitive answer on. Cameron, how's it going? I'm currently completing my level 1 and 2 certification at a vocational school. What industry would you recommend going into for the first time? I'm always partial to road work because that's my background. You can make a really good living, and roads are always going to need to be repaired, so it's a relatively safe field. If you want to get into something a little more technical and challenging, get into the Oh my lord, excuse me. Wow. Talk about unprofessional. Wow. Okay, let's try that one again. Getting into the underground. If you like technical stuff, underground work is very technical. It's going to require a lot more concentration, a lot more skill in general. Please don't rake me over the coals for that one. But that's a really good field to go into. If you like travel, you want to make more money, you can get into doing some sort of maritime work. So getting in with companies that do the breakwaters or pier work or stuff like that. Those pay really well, but you will travel a lot. It really just depends on what you want to go into. There's a lot of options available to you, Cameron. Feel free, by the way, to email me if you've got additional questions that we can't answer tonight. But at the same time, obviously, feel free to ask away here in the comments. Brandon, got to drive a loader all of last week. Nice. I love the loader. Love it. Cryptomaniac, that's a new face. Good to see you, man. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it. Ryan, got to backfill a grain pit yesterday. Super sloppy, because you didn't spell right, Ryan. I'm calling you out on it, damn it, because I have to give you shit on this channel. Super sloppy. Luckily, some of the gravel we reused from what we dug, which had concrete in it to help us keep from being mush when compacting it. So when you say grain pit, like, are you talking like a legit grain pit, like in an old farm or something, or an old elevator that you were having to backfill? I'm curious about that one. That sounds like an interesting project. Sebastian, good to see you, man. We backfilled an abandoned stretch of 42-inch pipe with what I can only describe as concrete diarrhea. You know, that is unfortunately, um, that's just what we have to deal with this time of year. Unfortunately, it sucks, but yeah, it's the diarrhea is everywhere. Whether it's mud or concrete, or it's just all that nasty cow pie like consistency, like the fresh cow pie. I'm not talking like the crusted over cow pie that you can pick up and throw at your friend. I'm talking like a fresh, very soft. My goodness, the phone. We're just gonna put that over here. We're gonna put that right there. Anyway, yeah, it's just nastiness. I hate this time of year. Like, I love this time of year for the change of the weather. I like working in a hoodie and having that cool, crisp air like we talked about last week. But when it comes to the consistency of the material you are generally working with, I hate this time of year. It's miserable, but it is what it is. Let's see here, Ryan. Are we going to see a video on how to safely get in and out of holes safely? Ryan, I'm gonna give you shit for that one too, because what is that language that you're speaking in your comment there? I'm able to decipher it. I consider myself a bit of a linguist, and so I am able to decipher it. And then I'm gonna give you a very perverted answer. When I find a big enough hole that I can make a video on hole safety, you better believe I'll make you a hole safety video. You got it, Ryan. Top of my list is teaching you about getting in and out of a hole safely and using the correct protection when climbing into the hole and exiting the hole. So stay tuned, brother. Corey here in Arizona watching you. Love your stuff. Thanks, Corey. I appreciate that. And if I am not mistaken, I have not seen you before. You're a new face. I appreciate the support. I really do. I tell all of my subscribers, you guys make the channel happen. You are the reason that I'm here doing this live session tonight. So I do genuinely appreciate the support, man. Jackson is dying for me. Jackson is dying for me to do a pumpkin carving live stream. I told him I don't think really many guys in our industry are going to get a huge charge out of watching a grown-ass man carve a pumpkin. You know what? You guys proved me wrong. If enough of you guys vote for me to do a pumpkin carving live stream, then by God, maybe next Sunday we can do a pumpkin carving live stream. I have my doubts though that one's going to come to fruition. But good to see you, Jackson. Good to see you. Let's see here. Cryptomaniac. I don't even know. You know what? Cheers. Oh, cheers. Hey, there you go. I appreciate that. I'm really good with emojis, if you can't tell, because I'm an old man. Anyway, oh, by the way, Jackson said Undertaker was on Hot Ones, which Jackson is a huge wrestling fan. I'll have to go look for that one, because I really bet that would actually, that sounded like a sentence Ryan would have just typed out. I'm sorry, I'm going to keep ragging on you, Ryan. I like you, Ryan, and that's why I rag on you. As you know on this channel, me ragging on you is my sign of affection. So watch it, I might try to grab your ass. I'm kidding. Sweet Jesus, people. Let's rid ourselves of the COVIDness. Okay. And forward. Let's see here, Jonathan. Idea for a video. It could be loading and unloading dozers or excavators from a trailer. Where should the operator look? On what side? So that's a great point, Jonathan. I am going to write that one down. Safely loading and unloading trailer. So the reason I'm writing that one down specifically, I have had a couple requests for that one. And I always forget to make that one. And part of that is just because I don't, with my current setup, because I'm this freelance operator, I don't currently come into contact with a lot of pieces of equipment that I'm loading on or off of like a triaxle trailer. The closest I get is loading a mini or the skid onto Rick's trailer right now, because everything else we get delivered on a low boy and I don't even touch it. So I will try to make a point to do some sort of a trailer safety video at some point here, just because you're, like I said, like the third or fourth person that's asked me for that one. So thank you for the suggestion. I am, like I said earlier, give me a bit. It's not going to be an immediate thing, but I will try to make that video for you here somewhat soon. Ryan, still need to check out the come on, man. Come on. You guys got to check out the podcast. Obviously, I'm super biased, but I think we're killing it. Like, I feel like we're doing a decent job at it. It's coming together. Obviously, it's going to take a little bit for Rick and I to really get our flow down and get super comfortable. But at the same time, like I said, with all the guests we got coming up, I really feel like we're going to have some pretty quality content for you guys that'll give you something to break up your day. So, Bacon, if you want to be Joe Rogan, you have to average at least 3.5 hours an episode. You know what? If we can get the support, I will be 100% honest with you guys. If we can get the support on the podcast so that financially it makes sense for Rick and I to do that, I am totally down for doing a long format podcast and doing more than one a week. The problem is just from the time constraint and the financial side. Like, we've got to get the support there first before we can afford to take the time out of our work schedules to dedicate that much time to a podcast. But that being said, like, especially with some of these guests I'm going to be having on, I'm all for doing a 2.5, 3 hour long podcast. Like, I love, you guys know, because between the live stream and all my videos, I love to sit here and shoot the shit and talk and chat and really delve into, like, Aaron Witt's a prime example. I could sit and talk to that guy for probably 3 or 4 hours and just kind of go through what brought him into the industry and his thoughts on the industry and kind of how what he sees for the future of the industry, and kind of bouncing back and forth on that conversation. I think we could go for a long time. Unfortunately, he's super busy and I'm super busy, so we'll get there. You guys show up, and we will. This is one thing I will tell you definitively. If you guys show up, I will put the content out there, as you guys have seen with this whole channel, with the vlog channel, with everything we got going on. I will put the content out there if you guys can help back me up. So, Jackson. So I watched Halloween Kills. It really isn't that scary. I don't even know what that is, Jackson, because I've never been into those Halloween movies. But it doesn't surprise me. Like, I feel like a lot of those horror movies just go for the shock value. They don't actually build the suspense like some of the older movies do, like Poltergeist and Exorcist and stuff. So it is what it is. Tom, what's going on? Made it out? You did. You made it out early. I'm impressed, man. Like, we're only 20 minutes in and you're already here. That's awesome. I'm very excited about that. I'm not going to spell a lot of things right tonight. It's been a long week. The grain pit is for a new bin site, basically a concrete floor with walls that have grate on top. They'll put a conveyor in it eventually that will move one leg and the bins from there. Oh, I gotcha. So I'm just gonna give you shit, Ryan. You know how it is. Oh, I see you down. You're getting all butthurt down in the bottom of the comments, Ryan. I see it. Hey, it's all meant in love, brother. It's all meant in love. Don't take offense. We're all friends. Jackson, I'm convinced Michael Myers can't be killed. He got beat up so much at the end. Well, yeah, Jackson, obviously, if you kill off the main character in a horror movie, then you don't leave the genre open for any other, like, money-sucking movies in the whole collection. So yeah, you can't kill your main character off. Oh my lord, I'm sorry. Cryptomaniac, cut holes, ladder, step. I don't know what you are referring to on that, Crypto, because it's been a while since I've chatted. So, or are you talking to someone that put a comment up? I don't know. I'm lost. I don't know. Jackson, that's right. My OnlyFans, eventually we will start the OnlyFans, and then we will just do a nude podcast. We will just sit here in the nude and do our podcast, and then we can get even more tips from you guys, because we will be naked and you can gaze upon my glorious cleavage. If you guys notice, I always wear high-cut t-shirts because I feel like my cleavage is too distracting for most people, and they just really don't appreciate me as a person because they're too busy staring at my cleavage. So I'm very careful, but on the OnlyFans, believe me, you will get cleavage, 100%. So Tom, rubber tracked truck is sweet, cool video. I agree. Like, that was something that was, like, when I stumbled across that, I was like, that's a badass rig. I've seen them before on pipelines and stuff, but I've never been around one up close. And it impressed the snot out of me, especially, like, for what they were using it for. They were, sorry, residual COVID. For what they were using it for, if you guys aren't familiar, they put sand down for the roadbed, and then they put in their edge draining. You have to pea stone that. traditionally what I've always used is we had a loader with a side dump bucket, but you leave pretty good sized ruts using a wheeled machine on that sand bed. And so for them to take that the track dump truck in there and use that conveyor system, like, what an awesome system where you're not rutting up your sand grade and you've got really good traction. It's a super stable base, and you can carry, I don't know, 5 to 6 times the amount of pea stone that you could with my loader bucket. Like, that was an awesome machine. I'm totally with you. It was an awesome machine. Let's see here, Ryan. Maybe use that dirty hole Brandon was digging in a while, but that's right, Ryan. You absolutely know that we will use Brandon's dirty hole that his wife requested. Let me remind you of that portion of the story. Brandon's wife requested Brandon work on that dirty hole. And so maybe I will join Brandon in that dirty hole, and we'll talk about how to get safely in and out of the dirty hole, and maybe how to get clean afterwards, because that's always important. Hygiene is important when you're working in a dirty hole. So Brandon has voted that he would watch a live stream of the pumpkin carving. There's one. We've got 2 votes. We've got Jackson and Brandon. So we'll see what happens. In fact, you know what? We're going to do an official tally. We're going to say yes to the carving and no to the carving. So far, we have 2 yeses. Here we go, guys. The official count for should we do a pumpkin carving live stream. Voting is now open. If you will just put a simple yes or no in the comments, I will tally the votes, and at the end we will decide if we are going to do a pumpkin carving live stream next weekend. Yes, next weekend. Maybe next weekend. Hang on, guys, hang on. I do need to check the calendar on this one, legitimately, because I got some stuff coming up. So let's see here. We are there. So next weekend is Halloween. So I feel like most of you guys are going to be out trick-or-treating because we're all children in this industry, and the numbers won't be there to support it. But if this is what the masses want, then maybe we can do an earlier in the day live stream. So instead of going at night, maybe we could do a live stream around like 2 o'clock in the afternoon or something. I don't know. I'm just spitballing. You guys, we'll see. Cameron, your channel is great. Just wanted to say thanks for all the information. Would you know how to get into underwater excavating? So first of all, Cameron, obviously, thank you. I really do appreciate the compliment, and I appreciate the support as always. When it comes to doing underwater, what I would do is start applying to some, not necessarily dewatering companies. I would probably go with some maritime companies. So start looking for companies that are doing pier work, that are doing maybe pond excavation, which even with ponds, you're probably going to be doing more new ponds or dredging ponds that have been sucked down. So I would really look at people doing, pier work, not pilings like normal, but you know what I mean, like for piers, that sort of stuff. That would be my biggest. I'm sorry, my brain just totally, could you tell my brain shut down there and I have no idea what I'm talking about? I'm sorry. What was I saying? Sweet Jesus, Brian. Look for some maritime companies. We'll just leave it at that because apparently I can't effing talk or think tonight. But yeah, look for companies that are doing marine type work, and that's going to be probably your biggest bet or your best bet for doing underwater digging. Let's see here. Richard, try it with a chainsaw to carve up a pumpkin. I don't have a chainsaw because apparently I'm not a real boy. And I think that would be a giant disaster because I don't really have a lot of finesse with a chainsaw. Better yet, maybe we should get a mini excavator and see if we can carve it with a mini excavator. There's a thought. Ooh. Jordan, hey man, love the content, relatively new to the channel, started watching a bit after I started to operate because there's always room to grow. Thanks for all the knowledge. Hey Jordan, I'm seeing a lot of, what really excites me as a content creator, as someone who owns a YouTube channel, I have to say, as much as I love all of these guys like Brandon and Jackson and Ryan, Tom, I've got all these guys that are always here. I love you guys. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely love you guys for the consistent support. It really excites me to see all of the new faces in the chat, and we're getting a lot of them tonight. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you guys subscribing as newcomers, just because that growth is what is fueling this. It's expanding what we can do with the channel. And so I really do appreciate you guys subscribing. So Jordan, first of all, welcome to the live stream. It's good to have you here, and thank you again for the support. I really do appreciate it. Ryan, so Ryan has voted yes, so we have 3 yeses, and I've already addressed your hurt feelings, so we don't have to worry about that comment. Jesus Rides had a truck driver trying to load a loader. It was, oh, I see. We're talking about loading equipment on a trailer. I just lost the comment here. Hang on. Where'd it go? There it is. Muddy trailer was a little slanted. He ended up flipping over the machine. Jesus, Jesus, welcome to the channel. I appreciate it. Or is it Jesus? Because, traditionally that's Jesus. But first of all, welcome to the live stream. Secondly, there are 2 conditions, 3 technically. We'll say 3 conditions that really make loading onto a trailer really dangerous. When it's wet, when it's super muddy, or when there's any sort of ice on the trailer. Those are the times that I would 100% tell you, get that trailer as level as possible. Do not make any sudden movements. Make sure if you're in an excavator especially, you've got that boom and that arm in a position to where you can catch yourself if you are at any sort of a slope. No sudden movements. If you're running a dozer up on there or a skid steer, put it in creep mode. You need to go super, super slow, because once you start to slide, it is real hard to catch yourself. So, it is what it is. You got to know what you're doing when you're loading a trailer in adverse conditions. So, Crypto, what's the best seat in excavation operation? It all depends on what you mean by best. So if you want the most action-packed, sit your ass down in a loader, and you will have more fun than you can handle, and you will never get to stop. If you're talking about just like easy on the body, it's 100% undisputed an excavator. If you want a super big challenge, just from a skill level that you can always get better at, dozer. So what do you mean exactly by best, I guess would be my question there, because there's so many different aspects of this job that you can really, most pieces of equipment, if you want a really comfortable, super easy job, but it's also going to be monotonous and boring, roller. I go back on a roller in a heartbeat, which is ironic because I hated the roller when I started in the industry because I wanted to get on a real piece of equipment. I couldn't wait to get off of the roller. And now that I've been on all the other equipment, I go, dude, the guy on the roller just has like the easiest day. He's got his lunch. He's kicked back on the roller with his feet kicked up, waiting for the dozer to get out. Like, what an easy, carefree, no responsibility job. So that's another thing to consider. Roller's actually a really cushy job. So just depends. Jackson, favorite part of the podcast is these nuts. You must be talking about, hang on.
These nuts?
There you go. Oh, where's the other one? I can't remember where the other one is.
Got it.
Yeah, love it. I'm with you, Jackson. That's one of my favorite sound effects, in all honesty. Jonathan, I've seen some people move their dozers on a rollback flatbed tow truck. Is that even okay? I can see the dozer sliding down the bed once it's lifted to unload it. It's one of those things, you got to be super careful. You need to know what you're doing. But yeah, it's safe. As long as the truck is rated to carry the weight of the dozer, it is a safe thing to do, because those grousers most of those rollbacks don't have a totally flat, smooth bed. Most of the time, they've got the little grooves in them so that your grousers can get some traction. And once it's chained down, it's a totally different story. It's really just the loading and unloading that get a little dicey. So in the right conditions, assuming that you've got a truck rated for the weight, you're fine there. Corey, thanks for the shout out. I'm an underground wet utilities foreman here in Arizona, installing 90-inch storm drain, 98-inch. Sorry. Love it if you could do more on trench safety. Believe it or not, Corey, that's actually on my list. It's been on my list for a while. Unfortunately, I haven't been on many jobs recently that have trenches worthy of being able to do a trench safety video. But it is on the list, brother. I will as soon as I can. Yeah, we'll get it done at some point here when the opportunity presents itself. Jackson, Brian, so you said that on your last video you won't be operating as much because winter is coming, but does Rick have any plowing contracts? Could you just fill snow plowing the whole season? No. No. I don't want anything to do with snow plowing. You guys have badgered me enough. In all honesty, last winter, I had a ton of you guys badgering me for snowplowing videos. I hate snowplowing. I hate it. I am a Texan. At the end of the day, I am a Texan. I've been up in the north long enough that I'm pretty much basically I'm basically a Michigander now. But in my heart, I am still a Texan that hates snow. What I really hate is being stuck in a plow truck or a loader for 36 hours straight because that's how long the snowstorm is and there's no stopping. That being said, enough of you guys have badgered me into it. I am going to do some calling around this winter to see if someone will let me come out for a night or two and do some snow plowing in a relatively lax fashion where I can get some, you know how I do it. I get the cinematic B-roll and we get the really cool shots and we're gonna make it look all nice and pretty, and that's the style of snow plowing I want to do, because I don't want to be in this production like go for 36 hours straight. But I will see if I can get you at least a couple snow plowing videos this winter. Crypto, getting my CDLA. There you go. There you go. That will, you know, it's one of those things. Don't go advertise that you got that CDL, but it is absolutely something to have in your back pocket for sure. And the only reason you don't want to advertise it is because then you're going to get stuck in a truck and you'll never see a piece of equipment. Richard, go out of state for a few days into the warm south and do some work. That's actually on the agenda, Richard. I've got a couple contacts that I'm talking to across the country, and I'm going to try to do a couple jobs over the winter. We'll see what travel looks like and what I can get away with, but there's gonna be some work going on. Crypto, I've operated the Volvo A40, never got stuck. I don't remember what that was in reference to. Maybe not, I don't know. All right, so Crypto says no. Angela says yes. Which Angela? I don't think I've seen you on the live stream before. Welcome to the live stream. Ryan, I think I already counted your vote. That was a yes. Richard, it's 31. I don't know what that was referencing. Chris votes yes. Sweet Jesus, guys. All right, the no's got to pick up the pace here. If you're just coming in, we are voting on whether or not everyone wants me to do a live stream where I carve a pumpkin on the live stream. So far, we have 5 yeses and a single no. And I'm with Crypto. I'm voting no. I'm gonna put down a second no for myself because I feel like my vote should count. You know, presidential election, they get to vote for themselves. I mean, why can't I vote for myself in a no? But Chris has said hell yes. Maybe some excavator pumpkin tricks. That's what Crypto. So that's kind of where I'm going with this. Is let's go rent a mini and somehow, you know, duct tape the carving tools to the end of the tooth and see if I can carve it with an excavator. Never gonna happen. But you know, I don't have like the Chris from Let's Dig. I don't have those skills and abilities. I mask it under doing big dirt projects where I don't have to be accurate. Brandon says early this afternoon. Which, Brandon, have we counted your vote yet? I don't know if we've counted. Okay, so Brandon says yes. I'm going to put Brandon down. Sweet Jesus. That's 6 yeses, guys. Come on. You got to pick up the pace, no. Jonathan just voted no. Thank you, Jonathan. I appreciate that. Let me jump back up here. Bump. I'm sorry, I'm way behind in the comments. I'm doing a terrible job this evening. Oh, Shane. Just stopped in to say hi, out of town on vacation, back on Tuesday. Catch you later. Hey, thanks for stopping in, Shane. I'm sure you're long gone by now because I'm just now getting to that. Nick, what's happening? Thanks for showing up, man. And you're so early tonight. It's awesome. That's right, Ryan. Now that Nick's here, we can rag on him and his little fruity pink drink. You're out of the crosshairs now. Crypto brings me to another question. Starting to dig pond, I'm assuming is what that is. Where do I start the dig? Oh, there you go, pond. Yep. That's a hard question because it depends on your site conditions, and you know, that's not something that should be dictated by whether you start at the deep end or the shallow end, or where. Really what it boils down to is your site logistics. So you want to dig, man, how do I even do this? Let's say we've got the fill over here, and we have our pond over here. Okay. Can you guys read that? Hey, there we go. There we go. Oh, let me get my fingers out of the way. So the way I would approach a situation like this is, here's your pond over here. Sorry, I'm doing this backwards in the camera. Bear with me. And you've got your fill or wherever you're taking your material back over here. Always, from a logistics standpoint, start at your furthest point from your fill, because if we were to start on this side here, then your trucks wouldn't be able to access this section back here because you've already dug out this section. So you're always going to start in the area that's going to be the furthest point that your trucks can access, and you're going to dig back towards your fill, and that way you don't ever interfere with where your trucks need to run. Now, are there other conditions that come into play? Absolutely, 100% yes. And that's why that's a really hard question, just to kind of throw out an answer of start on the left side. It doesn't really work that way. It all depends on your site conditions and what other factors are coming into play. Is there a giant wet spot that you need to take care of? So it might make sense to, for a logistics standpoint, dig out the giant wet hole and then move forward. You know, let's say, again, going back to our super awesome, which, by the way, you guys need to compliment my artistic abilities here, because I mean, have you seen a better picture of a pond dig? I mean, honestly. So let's say we had a wet spot right here in the middle. What you might do is dig the wet spot out, then track your machine up here, dig this section and throw it behind you into the wet spot so that your trucks have a nice area to run, and then you'll go back here and start digging your way back, if that makes sense. I know my fingers are all over the place. Again, I'm trying to do this all backwards in the camera. But all that to say, Crypto, just, it's going to depend on your site conditions. The biggest thing that I would think about when I'm digging a pond is, what will keep my haul truck running the whole time with no interference from the dig, so that I'm not having to jump through hoops to keep material moving? That's how I would approach that. Let's see here. Let's talk about truck drivers, Brian. I mean, honestly, Nick, we can sit here all night and talk about truck drivers and just the disaster and hot mess that they are. It never ends with truck drivers. Excuse me, sweet Jesus. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. So unprofessional. Good God. Jim, thoughts on trying to get in with an engineer operators union? This is such a difficult subject every time it comes up, because there are aspects of me that are very pro-union. There are aspects of me that are very anti-union. And let me delve into that a little bit before I get anyone all hot and bothered. I love the union for what it has done to wages. I love the union for what it's done for holding contractors accountable to paying a real living wage and supplying healthcare and benefits to all of their employees. Where I struggle with the union is the politics involved. In order to get into the union, you have to go through the apprenticeship program 9 times out of 10. That's a very political situation where they only take so many people, and it's, you got to know someone to help get you in, which in this workforce environment that we're in, where we're struggling for operators, it still baffles my mind that it is that difficult to get into the apprenticeship. I don't know why the union hasn't stepped up like tenfold on its training capabilities so that we can fill this huge sucking void. Because I hear from guys all the time that are waiting to get into the apprenticeship. I hear that on almost a daily basis from people. And I'm sorry, but why is that still such a consistent problem that everyone's waiting to get into the apprenticeship program, when we should be grabbing guys as fast as we can get them and throwing them in that program? So that really bothers me about the union. The other thing that really bothers me about the union is the fact that you don't have any control over your retirement. That really bothers me, because time and time again, not even just with the operators union, but within unions in general, it has been proven that you're always going to have that corruption. You're always going to have some guy that decides to dip his hand into the cookie jar and pull from the pension fund. And I'm sorry, but you should give me the option to take my 401, my pension, and throw it in a 401k or something where I am personally in control of it. I understand the idea of having this giant pension fund that everyone contributes to and everyone benefits. Yeah, in an ideal world, absolutely 100%. The problem is It has been proven over and over and over again. People are greedy, and they're going to dip their hands in it, and I really don't like that aspect of it. So I again, going back to the politics, I also don't like it that it is you are 100% union or you're 100% non-union. And if you're not in the union, then sweet Jesus, we're going to cut you off. And like a prime example is take my channel and what I'm doing. We can all agree collectively that I'm trying to help the trade. I don't give a shit about union or non-union. I'm trying to help get people into the trade and help the trade progress forward. I'm all for working with the union. I have reached out to the union numerous times with absolutely no response because I'm not union. I'm sorry. What a stupid mentality. That's an absolutely stupid mentality that it's my way or we're not talking to you. And it's that way with everything. It's not just, that's not some personal butt hurt. That's an opinion I formed back when I was in the union, which, full disclosure, I was union. I was union for 5 years. And that is just that's a mentality or a viewpoint that I developed while I was in the union. Is I understand that there will, and we all understand, there will always be people that exist outside the union, and there will always be people that exist inside the union. We need to collectively all accept that. And it needs to stop. We need to stop with this whole, if you're not in the union, you're against us, and you're a worthless piece of shit human being, and we don't want anything. I'm sorry. No, that's not benefiting anyone. That's dividing an industry that should all be coming together. Those are the sort of things that really frustrate me about the union. So all of that to say, that's kind of my overall thoughts on the union. I am not anti-union. I'm very much pro-union. But at the same time, there is another element to this whole thing where the union, to an extent, has gotten a little big for its britches too, to where the union is actually worried about the union's best interests. It's not necessarily worried about my best interests or your best interests. It's worried about how can we get as much of the pie for the union to fuel the union. And I think for a long time there, they really lost sight of what they were actually supposed to be fighting for. Now, when it comes to the John Deere stuff that's happening right now, the strikes that are going on, I'm all for it. I think that is a great thing that those unions are coming together. Those people are coming together to fight for fair wages, for fair raises, to kind of force John Deere to share some of the profits that they have gained, which they've had some record numbers that they're putting out. And those people should be compensated for that. And they should be compensated for what they did during COVID to maintain production levels. There's a fine line there. And I feel like the operators union, especially on this last round of negotiations here in Michigan, they were not fighting for the union members' best interests on that round of negotiations. I feel like they were really fighting for the union's best interests, and there's a big difference there. So I know that's a lot. I know I went in depth there. I apologize if I offended anyone. Like I said, I'm not anti or pro union specific in one or the other. It's a complex topic, and I see benefits to it and I see downsides to it. And I think, it's like everything else. There is much room for improvement, but overall I am pro union. I came from Texas where I was making $12-13 an hour running an off-road truck. And then I come up here and get in the union where you're going to be making, as an apprentice, you're going to be making like, what, 20 something an hour. And then once you get through to full journeyman pay, you're something like, I don't remember, it's like 38 or 42 an hour with all of your benefits package, factored in. Like, no question there, the union had a super huge influence on wages. So I am pro union, absolutely. But we got some stuff to work on. Let's see here. Crypto, I did answer your question. I was union. Since I am no longer operating full-time, I did drop out of the union because I didn't want to continue to pay dues when I didn't really have anything vested in my pension, and they were just going to milk me. I'm not down for just being milked, but it had nothing to do with being anti-union or anything. It just didn't make sense to continue to pay my union wages or my union dues for the rest of my life so that I could collect a very small pension amount when I retire. Let's see here. Sean, rollers these days have cabs, air conditioning, radio, heat, pretty much pretty much pay the same as everything else. It depends on the company you work for, because none of ours had cabs or air conditioning. But if you could snag one of those, by all means, sit your ass in that seat and do not move out of it, because that's a very cushy seat. Brandon, could you do a video on how to make those homemade chocolate chip cookies? No, but I could have my wife do one, because I don't know how to cook. But my wife does, and she makes really good cookies. And if she makes cookies for the stream, that means I get to eat cookies. I see this as an overall net positive for everyone involved, except for my wife, who just has to make cookies. So that's where we are. Tim, every place I've ever worked, the guy who does the dozer work wanted to do the roller work too. It depends on the jobs, Tim. On smaller jobs, that's absolutely the case, where you just bounce seats. But on all of the big road jobs I was on, we had a dedicated roller operator that was just chasing you all day long while you were doing road grade or whatever you were doing. So I apologize for the 12-year-old voice crackle. That is a, hangover of COVID. Let's see here. Nick, come to the Great White North and watch some real snow plowing. Nick, I will come see you in the Great White North when it is not white, when it is nice and warm and sunny, and we can enjoy being outside in short sleeves. Because I have no desire to come see your 18 feet of snow. Like, I'm sorry, keep that to yourself. You can have it. I don't want anything to do with it. Crypto, you work in Michigan. On what project and working for who? I have experience in looking for work. So Crypto, I am a freelance operator now. That's how I kind of maintain the channel. I've got Rick is my buddy that I work with most of all. I used to work for Dan's Excavating. I worked for them for 5.5 years. I've done residential work up here. So if you are in southern Michigan, Dan's Excavating, Toby, Iafrady, Stante, you've got let's see here, out of Flint, you've got ProX. You've got a lot of contractors here in Michigan. You can absolutely find work here in Michigan. Now, we're on the back end of the season. You may have to wait until March. But if you start applying in March, you will 100% be able to find work. But yeah, currently I'm no longer working for a company. I freelance. I've got like 4 or 5 different contractors that I kind of spottily fill in for. And then I help my buddy Rick most of all. Oh, you just answered. You're in Grand Rapids. Unfortunately, because you're on the west side of the state, I don't know many contractors over there. But honestly, any of your big ones over there should be hiring. Everyone's hurting for employees right now. So, let's see. Oh my gosh, look at this. Look at who came into the live stream. We have Gibson Landscape Construction. If you guys don't follow James is out of Canada. He's got his channel, Gibson Landscape Construction. You should go follow him. Sweet Jesus, James, how have you been? It has been forever and a day, man. It's good to have you back in the live stream. Oh my gosh. And I am way behind in comments. Sweet Jesus, guys, you are cranking tonight. Okay, I gotta take the sweatshirt off. I didn't realize I'm this far behind. Like, it's gotta get, like, we're getting real now. No more fucking around. Ooh, I said that on the live stream too. I'm sorry. Apologize for the language. I apologize. Didn't mean to offend. Let's see here. Been some time here and no one talks about the best equipment manufacturer ever, specifically their backhoes, JCB. Brian, you are on their blacklist. Jonathan, my God, how do you block someone from live stream? Guys, we need to just block Jonathan. Which, by the way, voting is still open if you guys have just tuned in. We have a portion of our population here that want me to do a live stream pumpkin carving. We are voting. You can write yes or no in the comments. Please only vote once because I get confused easily. And if I see you vote 5 times, who's to say that I'm not going to mark it down 5 times? Please don't do that. You're going to confuse the shit out of me. But if you would like to see me carve a pumpkin on the live stream next week, vote yes. If you would not like to see me carve on the live stream, vote no. And me, as the host of this show, is asking that you please vote no because I don't want to carve a pumpkin. There it is. I said it. I don't want to carve a pumpkin. So, but voting will continue, and I will honor the vote. That is one thing I think you guys know about me. I will honor the vote. So, let me know what you guys want. So all that, Jonathan, JCB backhoes, I am okay being on the blacklist. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I don't like JCB. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. Let's see here. Crypto. Good God, guys. Really? Come on, Crypto. I thought you had my back. Crypto is voting yes, but he wants the mini excavator. And I'm going to be straight with you guys. A mini excavator pumpkin carving is not going to happen by next weekend. I cannot arrange and afford to rent a mini excavator by next weekend, have it at my house in order for me to carve a pumpkin for the live stream. So it's most likely just going to be me carving a pumpkin. Most likely. So that being said, let's continue with the voting. Jim says no. Thank you, Jim. Good man. Good man. Ryan, I was just thinking we hadn't heard from Gibson in a while. Yeah, James has been like radio silent, but he's got his little business that has been cranking, and so I totally get it. Which good on you, James. I'm happy that you're cranking that to that extent, but we do miss you here in the YouTube community. Nick, winter is coming 100%. Let's see here. No on pumpkin. Jim, no on pumpkin. Good man. That's what I like to see. We are now 7-5. 7 is in favor. 5 is not, but we're getting close. Let's see here. Yep, it's coming down. Excited for things to slow down on a week break. Nick, hey, look, we're getting caught up in the comments, huh? I think carving pumpkins is a little bit of this channel's directive. So no. Sean, we've got another no. Oh, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. We're getting good. Nick, that was a Game of Thrones reference. Yep, have a week off in between switching companies. That's right, because Nick doesn't want to do boulder walls anymore, which I don't understand that at all. What boulder walls are so fun. Brandon, Kayla asked, why are excavator operators such a-holes? That's because I don't know. Like, I don't feel like I'm an a-hole, and I consider myself an excavator operator. Maybe it's the job site you're on. Maybe is Kayla your wife, Brandon? In which case you can just respond, it's because you're married to Brandon. There you go. I mean, like, if Brandon is your only experience with an excavator operator, then of course he's an a-hole. I mean, come on. I'm just kidding, Brandon. You know I love you. Let's see here. Boom, boom, boom. So James is just finishing. What in the world? My phone is vibrating like crazy. Who is, and it's probably one of you guys, isn't it? Let's see, this is why I always have to check this during the live stream, is because it's probably one of you guys. Oh, it's not. Nope, it's my wife. It's my wife talking in a group text with people, because why not? We're not in the middle of a live stream. No big deal. It's not like we're doing a live stream or whatever. Anyway, let's see here. Oh, Crypto, you said thanks. I don't know what that's in reference to, but by God, I'm going to take credit for it and say, you're welcome. James, no mowing, just hardscaping and snow plowing. Yeah, and by the way, if you haven't seen James's hardscaping, like, they do quality work. It's like seriously good quality. I'm very jealous of their paver patios that they put out and their paver driveways and everything. They do really nice work. He's got a really good team. Jackson, isn't there a construction simulator game? That would be another great idea for a stream. Watch Brian play construction simulator. I think most people get super bored with that. Now, I will say, if we were to get like a cat command center, I think people would absolutely enjoy me running a loader completely remotely. We just have to get Caterpillar on board with that. Or we could do some sort of crane simulator if someone would hook that up, because I can tell you, I've used simulators before. They feel nothing like the real machines, and so you take an experienced operator and you look like an idiot in a simulator. Let's see. America's Finest Backhoe, Inc. Keep up the good work. Hey, good to see you. It's the first time on the stream, as far as I know, because I've never seen you comment. Thanks for joining the stream. I appreciate it, and I will do my best to keep up the good work. No promises. Who knows what's going to happen, but I'm going to try. Let's see here. Sean, start to dig where the water is closest to the surface, because you're going to want that hard high ground at some point. Well, that's a good piece of advice on the pond. That is a legit piece of advice. Kind of plays into that whole site conditions thing. Jim, thank you for answering my question. I don't remember which question I answered, or if that's even in reference to me, but I'll take credit. Like, I'm good with taking credit for things, even if I didn't do it. So you're welcome. My God, you're welcome. Let's see here. Brandon, still waiting on the apprenticeship. Yeah, that's it. Yep, 100%. So Jackson's talking about Fullerton Unfiltered, which that's a really good podcast. If you guys are in the lawn care industry, that's a really good podcast to listen to. I don't think there's any waiting here for the union. Could be wrong. Sean, it totally depends on the area. Let's see here. Crypto retired. Shiba Inu to the moon. Oh, there you go. So we're getting into, so you're actually legit talking crypto right now, which I'm not involved in any crypto coin, so, or cryptocurrency. But anyway, yeah, that should tell you how much I'm involved in it, that I don't even know what to call it. Sweet Jesus, I'm an idiot. Jim, I'm glad you said what you said about the union. I'd be better off making a little less, but in the long run, maybe making more because I don't have to pay them to work. So Jim, I do want to, along those lines, and this is not me disagreeing with you, but just full disclosure, your dues actually aren't crazy ridiculous. I was actually shocked at how reasonable the dues were. You have an annual due that you pay that's pretty, relatively speaking, pretty small. And then where your big dues come in is your working dues. And that's based off of how much you make, how many hours you make. That's where you really start to pay into the union. But again, when you really look at the grand scheme of what you're getting out of it, I have a very unique situation. I live 5 minutes from the training center here in town. And that is the official IOU, right? IOEU. Nope. IOUE. There we go. International Union of Operating Engineers. Whatever. It's too much to think about. The Union Training Center. Sweet Jesus, Brian. I live 5 minutes from the Union Training Center. And so when I was in the Union, I could literally drive down there. I could say, I got to think about my buddy's name down there. It's been so long, I don't remember his name. Anyway, I would say, hey, is one of your dozers or is one of your cranes available? Because at the time I was studying for my my crane certification. And as long as no one had it booked, I could drive up there, no cost to me, go get in the seat of that crane. I had someone that would help instruct me as long as they were free, and I could run that crane as long as I wanted, as long as I greased it and fueled it when I was done. That was all included in my union dues. So while yes, it does cost you some coin to be in the union, I 100% stand behind the fact that they charge you those union dues, because like I could go get my CDL through them if I wanted to. If I didn't have it previously and I wanted to go get it, I'd only have to pay a very minimal charge to get my CDL. All of the training would be taken care of with no cost to me. If I wanted to get my CCO, which I was going for, none of that training was costing me any money. The only thing I was going to have to pay for was my test. It was like $100 or $120. That was the only thing I was going to have to pay for to get my CCO. Everything else was covered. My OSHA 15, my OSHA 30 course, all was going to be covered. Didn't have to pay anything. Mine safety certifications, totally covered. I just had to sign up for the class. GPS courses, all of that's included because you're paying those union dues. So if you take advantage of that, it is 100% worth your union dues to pay into the union. So all that to say, I don't want to give the wrong impression that they bend you over the table with your union dues and you don't get benefits from them. You 100% do get benefits from them, and the union dues are not terrible. But if you're not in the union, if you're not participating in those things and you're just throwing money at that, obviously then you're not really going to see the benefits of it. So that's all I wanted to specify there. So I am behind on the comments. Sweet Jesus, guys. Let's see. James, I started hardscaping right out of high school. Been doing it for 21 years now. And it shows, in all honesty. If, like I said, guys, go subscribe to James's channel. Again, we're talking about Gibson Landscape Construction. Go subscribe and watch some of his stuff. His team puts out some really, really quality projects. So, Dan B, on mini excavators, do you, MIDI excavators, do you think having the backhoe pivot or the traditional excavator boom is better? I personally like the pivot boom. I call it the swing boom in all my videos, whatever you want to call it. I like the versatility of it because you still find yourself in a mid-size excavator. You still find yourself a lot of times in those tight situations to where you've got to get right up against something and then cock your boom off to the side so that you can dig straight alongside it. I really like that. Another aspect I use them for a lot, if you go back in my vlogs, you'll see we did a retaining wall project last year, and the ability to, when we were when we were, my God, Brian, get your brain working. Oh God, let's see here.
Mango tear. Put it in reverse, tear.
Let's back it up. Let's back it up. Anyway, the retaining wall project we were working on, we were swinging boulders. They were actually flat slabs of rock, but I could grab one of those, and if I was just a little off in the rotation of the actual slab, I could rotate the machine and then angle my boom back over to get the correct orientation. And so that's really handy. So me personally on middies, I like it with the swing boom. I think it gives you a lot more versatility in the machine versus the traditional boom. And you don't, it's not like there's this huge, you do give up a little bit of lift capacity, but it's not major. Not when you compare it to what you're giving up if you go to the traditional style excavator in the versatility of what you can do with it. So that's just me personally. So Jackson's going back and forth with James. Crypto, I have three years full-time experience with most of all heavy equipment within an operation. What should I be asking for starting pay? I'm assuming, because you said you were in the Michigan area, you know, if you're in a non-union company, I would say 18 to 20 an hour is not unreasonable at all. Maybe even bump up to like 22 to 24. But it all depends on the company. You know, what size company are you working for? Because with some of these bigger ones, you might be able to ask for a little more. I mean, you know, union wages around here, you're looking at like 42 an hour roughly. That's with benefits and everything. So your actual cash pay is like 37, 38 an hour, I think. Somewhere in there. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. But that's union. You're not necessarily going to get that if you're outside the union. So maybe back it down to like 28 an hour, you know, might be where you tap out. So let's see here. Okay. All right. Here we go. I got to scroll back up. Oh, I don't know how my comments just jumped right here. Let's see here. Boom, 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 boom. There we go. Ambitious Dirt Work. Hey, Brian. How's it going? I've seen comments about the union. Able to touch back on that. Yeah, so, Ambitious, first of all, thanks for showing up. I haven't seen you in here before. I do appreciate you subscribing and getting in the live stream. Basically what I was saying about the union, I'm not pro-union. I am pro-union. I should say I'm pro-union to an extent. Basically, union has a ton of benefits. It's done a lot of things for the wages in the area, but at the same time, the union has kind of grown to where it supports the union and no longer the focus is on the actual people in the union, the actual operators. And so specifically this last round of negotiations, there were a lot of operators that were forced to go on strike to negotiate a very minuscule, in the grand scheme of things, it was a pretty minuscule detail. We're talking like $1 an hour raise. I can't remember all the details, but it was not worth them losing, like, I can't remember, it was like 3 or 4 weeks worth of work while they were on strike to get this $1 an hour extra. And it was clear from the politics going on at the time, it was clear that they were negotiating to strong arm the companies because the union wanted to exert its power. It wasn't about getting better wages for the employees. And so that's just where I go. The union does have a ton of benefits. I'm absolutely pro-union. But we got some room to improve on the way the union works, and I hate the fact that they control your pension. I hate it. Give me the ability to put that money in a 401k that I can control myself, that no one in the union can dip into to line their pockets. That's kind of where we went with that whole conversation. So but yeah, if you do, by the way, you can reverse this. You can actually go back in the middle of the live stream. You'll just be on a little bit of a delay and then you can catch back up later. Feel free to check that out. That was, I don't know, what was that, 15 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, guys? If you want to check that out. So Luca, you said it 100%. I'm assuming we're talking about the union stuff, but I don't know, but I will take full credit for saying it 100%. You're welcome. Did you get a chance to go to the Utility Expo? Unfortunately, I did not. I was stuck here in Michigan. I wanted to, but at the same time, I can't afford to just fly out for those things right now because I'm trying to sustain this YouTube channel, for one, along with some other endeavors. So I didn't make it out, but I wanted to because I know Dirt Boss and a couple other guys were out there. I would have loved to have met those guys. The job I have now, we do a lot of prevailing wage work, all the benefits in our paychecks. That's a nice thing. If you can get on a prevailing wage job as a non-union guy, you get all of the benefits, but you don't have to pay the dues. Now, this is where I totally get the union side of the conversation. You're benefiting from all of the work that the union did to negotiate those wages up, but you're not paying for it. I understand how the union gets a little butthurt about that. I tend to side with them on that conversation. If you're going to benefit from it, you ought to pay into the fund and the work that they did to get you there. Now, they go a little far with it, I'll give you that, but I understand their side of the conversation. Let's see here. Boom. James talking back with Jackson. Jackson, Brian, is your wife comfortable being filmed making cookies? Some people don't want to be filmed. Yeah, probably not. She's pretty shy, which is why you don't typically see her on my channel. I think there's maybe 1 or 2 videos that she's been in, but for the most part, she's not. I would not expect a cookie making video anytime soon here. So, ambitious. You able to make a video on getting into having your own company and expanding? Yeah, let me write that down. That's a good topic. That's one that I can get my buddy Rick on here and we can kind of go back and forth. Which, by the way, another opportunity to plug. If you guys haven't heard, our podcast is called Sweat Grime. I will relink to it here in the comments. Hopefully I've got it saved still. I do. That is the Spotify link, but we are on any podcasting application. The podcast is called Sweat Grime. Not only will I try to do a down and dirty on that, but I will try to do a podcast, and I can do that quicker because we're not as far out on our podcasts. But I will try to do a podcast as well on starting your own company, and what all is involved in that, and kind of, what you really need to expect, not only from a workload standpoint, but just kind of I can say confidently, because I have started my own, this thing that I'm doing here is my own company, Diesel and Iron Productions, but I have started a lawn care company that failed previously, and I can tell you there are a lot of mental things that go into starting a company that you don't really understand until you're in the middle of it. So we can cover a lot of that, and honestly, the podcast I feel would be a better platform because we can do kind of more of a long form, hour-long conversation back and forth versus with a down and dirty, that's a complex topic, and it's hard for me to cover that in a 10 to 15 minute down and dirty. I can give you the hot button items, but we'll try to get a podcast out as well. So obviously iTunes, Spotify, Pocket Casts, whatever your podcasting application is, go check out Sweat and Grime and stay tuned. Like I said earlier, we are going to have Aaron Witt here on the next week. I think Friday of this week is when we do that interview, so it should be out the following week. We've also got the vice president of the Association of Equipment Distributors. He's going to be on talking about the infrastructure bill here in 2 weeks, I believe. So we've got some good guests coming up. So subscribe, do it. And I got you, ambitious. We will do a down and dirty on starting your own company. Absolutely. Let's see here. Sean, I think you are young. The union is good for you. You'll be able to have work steady. For me, it was different. Had a reputation early and never needed anyone to find me any workplace to learn. Yeah, and that's part of it too, is if you're in with a really good non-union company and they're treating you good, you don't need to go union. You don't have to go union. There's not going to be some huge benefit to going union. And that's another area that I feel the union kind of overflexes a bit, is there are non-union contractors that do a great job and they pay good wages, and you don't have to go union. It's not like you're going to get some huge benefit from going union. Now, if you need to find other work because you get laid off or something, absolutely, the union's got benefits, and they can hook you up with some other companies, and you've got a little bit of a safety net there. But I do feel like the union really overplays that card on the benefit there. Let's see here. James, definitely no. Let's just have a drink. I don't know what that's referring to because it's so far. This is where I'm so far in the comments. I'm sorry, guys. You were way ahead of me. Nick Adamson. Again, new face. Glad to have you. What's the best way to move up in a company other than being a hard worker and paying attention listening? Want to work my way up from a hoe operator and eventually to a foreman. Honestly, if you really want to get aggressive, there are a couple ways you can do it. One is you can outright go to your foreman and you can say, look, this is my goal. This is where I want to get to. And then you can start, kind of preface the conversation with that's what you want to do, and then say, can I just shadow you? Like when the opportunity presents itself, I don't mind staying late. And this is key right here. This is going to separate you from everybody else. Tell your foreman, I don't mind staying late to help you do some of your paperwork. If you will teach me how to log hours, how to log machine hours, how to do, your change orders and stuff like that. Like, show me how to do this stuff, and I will stay late to do it on my own time. That's going to be a huge indicator right there of how committed you are. That's going to grab someone's attention. Another thing you can do is, once you've got some seat time and some experience, apply to a company that's hiring a superintendent or a foreman. You're going to probably veer towards the foreman because most likely no one's going to hire you straight in as a rookie super. But, someone that's looking, a smaller company that's looking for a foreman, there's no problem in applying for that position and telling them, look, I got 4 years, 5 years of experience doing this. I've got the skills. I believe that I can do that. I'm really good at multitasking. I'm really, I pay attention to details and see what you can do. And there's a good chance, especially in the work situation or the workforce environment that we're in right now with really, really poor employers, or God dang it, Brian, brain fart again, where we've got a severe lack of quality and competent employees. There's a decent chance that a company will take you on and actually train you if you apply for the position and be honest that you have not gotten experience in a foreman role, but here's all of my qualifications. I want to learn this. And there's a somewhat decent chance that they will train you. So it just depends on how you go about it. Crypto used to work for Dijkstra Excavating, moved a lot of dirt in a Volvo A40 JD 700L with Topcon, dozer kind of guy. So the JD, it was either the 700 or the 750. I was not a huge fan of. Pretty much any dozer I know would outpush that one. But that being said, Topcon puts out a really good system. Deere does put out some good larger dozers, and I'm all about the dozer guy. I'm all about it. Tom, break walls, retaining walls on waterways. Good start for underwater work. Subs growing because of great content. Hey, I appreciate that, Tom. Not only do I appreciate you helping someone in the comments here, I appreciate you piggybacking a compliment on the back of it. Tim, no. Thank you, Tim. Thank you. Let me go back to my voting tallies here. We have another no. We are now dead nuts even on the pumpkin carving. We are 7-7. 7 people want me to carve a pumpkin. 7 people do not want me to carve a pumpkin. So we are dead nuts even. Crypto. They let me go because of COVID. Turned to crypto and voila. Hey, dude, if you're making money in crypto, more power to you, man. I've been wanting to dabble in it, but I just feel so dumb when it comes to that stuff. I haven't even bothered. Jim. I think more of the crane operators I've known are a-holes, but they have a ton of responsibility, so I get why they are. 100%. So if you guys aren't aware, when you go into hoisting and you are the crane operator, it does not matter if there is a master rigger on site. You are responsible for the pick as the operator. So as soon as that load is suspended in the air, you are 100% responsible. You're the guy that decided it was okay to pick. And that is a shitload of responsibility. I can tell you right now, because I spent some time in the seat of a crane training because I was going for my CCO. And that was one of the big things that I really debated whether I was going to go forward with it, because at the end of the day, you can have rigging experts on site, but you are the guy responsible for that load the second it comes off the ground. So yes, I totally understand why crane operators are a-holes, and they're going to be real straight with you, and they are not going to fool around at all, because that is a shitload of responsibility on their shoulders. So, Bacon, I'm impressed that the no's are keeping up. Not many streams get no as possible vote outcome. I'm encouraging a no tonight, Bacon, so we'll see what happens. Chris, other than the travel, want to know some operators that look like they've got it made? The guys that build the supercross tracks, they get flown in, all new equipment, it's all sitting there. That's a great point, Chris, that honestly we haven't talked about at all on this channel. Is, yeah, those motocross guys, if you like to travel, they get paid really good money, and generally it's all rental equipment, so it is brand spanking new equipment, and you get to see a ton of different sites, a ton of different cities, and it's pretty straightforward work. I mean, you're going into an arena and you're making it a dirt track according to some plans. Like, there's nothing overly complicated about it. It's pretty dang straightforward. And so 100% great point, Chris. Great point. Tom, we've got another no. We have now pulled ahead. We are 7-8. No's are in the lead, baby. No's are in the lead. Jonathan, Cryptomaniac, you have operators there. That's Deere's newest. Oh, I didn't realize the 700L is the newest model. So I have not run the L. Maybe I'm thinking of the K. Maybe it was the K. Pretty sure it was the K. I don't know. Bacon, there aren't any good consumer construction simulators. Don't know much about pro stuff. Closest approximation for hydraulic equipment or modded farming simulator, and if you go way back, rigs of rods. Yeah, unfortunately, there's not really a good, outright just fun simulator like farming simulator outside of, like he said, if you do a mod for farming simulator. And again, there you got to have 2 joysticks in order to really make it realistic. And I don't know. Simulators just can't simulate how much of the job is the feel in the machine. As in anyone who's an operator, which most of us are in here, none of us will argue that feel is everything in the machine. And a simulator just cannot simulate that. You just can't. Let's see here. James, Bacon, only because, let's see here. Yeah, James is wanting me to do it just. And I think that's kind of most of you guys in here right now is you're just trolling me at a very high level, that the only reason you're voting yes is because you know I don't want to carve a pumpkin. And so, like, I may just do a shit job at it just to troll you guys back. I may just bring out a sledgehammer and smash the pumpkin and be like, there, suck that. Like,
these nuts.
Yeah, suck it. We'll see what happens. Let's see here. See, this is how far behind in the comments. This is going back to where I couldn't figure out whether it was the IUOE or the IO. Look, it's all the vowels in the alphabet in some random order. That's what the union is. It's just vowels, however you feel like throwing them out there. James, absolutely, man. Honestly, it's good to have you back. I was super excited to see you in the comments. I was super excited to see you in the live stream, man. It's good to have you back. Swing boom, thumbs up. That's right, baby. All about that swing boom. What pays more, working in construction or mining, operator-wise? Honestly, I would have to say probably mining, but I honestly don't know. I think the mining is generally going to pay more just because they have their own kind of subsect of the union. But I honestly, that's a great question. I don't know what the mines are paying. Ryan, what's the newest piece of equipment everyone has operated? Mine was a 325 next gen with 170 hours on it. Ooh, I think Ryan is trying to throw down with the big dingling contest there.
Got it.
So yeah, I mean, I sold case equipment, so everything I operated. That was the beautiful thing about selling the equipment. I operated so many machines that had like 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours on them. It was whatever the factory put on them, and then whatever was required to load it onto the ship, and then onto a truck, and then offload it into our yard. And that's when I got to operate it. And so I've got you beat in the big D contest. That's right. I'm swinging a big one, Ryan. I'm swinging a big one. And that's why you should all subscribe to my OnlyFans. Tim, union wages here in New Jersey for a wheel loader operator, 88 and... Okay, guys, we're going to re-strategize. Starting tomorrow, I will no longer have the diesel and iron channel because I'm apparently moving to New Jersey and running a wheel loader, because that's what I excel at, is wheel loader. And apparently you can make flipping $88 an hour. Sweet Jesus. And Crypto, 100%. Let's give him some applause here. Hit that like button, baby. Absolutely. Make sure you subscribe. Hit that little bell icon so that you get notified every time I put out another quality video for you. Thank you, Crypto. I do appreciate it. James, busy year for you. Home for the winter. James, it has been unbelievably busy. I spent a month out in Minnesota this summer with Carson Shifsky and his crew, teaching them to do underground, which I also learned at the same time. That was a good time. I've got a really, really big project in the works right now that I am not allowed to talk about. But it's big and it's coming soon. And that is what is taking up a lot of my time right now, starting here in the next couple of weeks. So that's been super exciting. I haven't done quite as many projects this year with Rick as I did last year, but we've had a fair amount of projects. And then I've had a couple production video projects. I actually just did a video for Braun, which manufactures drain tile plows. Just did one of those for them, which was cool. So yeah, lots of stuff going on. Lots of stuff. Sweet Jesus, it's already 8:55, guys. My God, and we are cranking. We got 20 of us still in here. This has been a good live stream. Like, no joke. We've had really good turnout. I'm excited. Let's see here. Mikey. I didn't mean to confuse you with the wrecking ball girl. I'm sorry. Excuse me. My bad. Wanting to really learn to take the step to get started with your own business and focus on what to advertise, how to find the correct market. That's a question. Is that a question for me, or is that a question for the group? Are we collectively looking to get started with your own business and find the correct market? I feel like this might be an advertisement, or is it a legit question? Let me know, Mikey. Ambitious, I know you were case equipment sales, but I was wondering what's a route would you go with getting into buying equipment, financing, leasing, or buying wise looking at CAT equipment? It depends on what they're offering. So I will say, this is where you kind of get into what is your business model going to be. You can buy used equipment if you're smart about it, if you look for a good deal, if you make sure you vet the equipment properly. I would recommend, if you're going to buy a new piece of equipment or buy a used piece of equipment, I always recommend, believe it or not, I recommend people buy a slightly used piece of equipment if you can get something 1,500 hours or less. The reason for that is, I don't care who you are, if you have a new piece of equipment from the factory, you will have issues. It's just a fact. It's not knocking anybody. It's just when it comes out of the factory, they don't physically have time to test every single thing for 100 hours on a job to verify that everything's tightened the way that it needs to be, or there's not something goofy going on. There's always going to be little bugs. If you can buy a piece of equipment that's got 750 hours on it, that's a perfect piece of equipment. Somebody else worked out all the kinks, all the bugs, and now you've got a nice piece of equipment that's going to settle into a nice routine for you. So there, I would just do a traditional finance. An alternative way to look at it is you can go the lease route. And the advantage of going that route is if you go with the purchase route and doing the finance, you have variable costs. What do I mean by that? Well, you're eventually going to get out of warranty and you're going to be responsible for the maintenance of that machine, which means you do have variable costs. You're going to have things that go out when you aren't expecting them to. You're going to have all of your oil changes and everything that you're responsible for. You're going to just have regular maintenance on the machine, and that's going to fluctuate over time depending on what your working conditions are. Versus if you lease, you think about it as a fixed cost rate. Are your costs a little higher? Yes. You do pay a little more to have that fixed cost, but now I have a very fixed cost in my mind. Unless one of my employees goes out there and totally screws up the machine that I have to pay for, pretty much all of your issues are going to be covered under warranty. And so the dealership's going to take care of that cost. And now you get into a much more consistent cost model for the equipment. So it's really, which model do you want to go to? But what plays into that too is, what are the lease rates? Because I can tell you right now, when I was working at Case, we as a dealership had preferential lease options until we fell below a quota on our lease numbers, and then we lost that. And so now all of a sudden our lease costs were super, super expensive for our customers versus a traditional finance rate. So there will be times that it makes way more sense, like it's not even comparable, that you need to go the purchase model versus the lease model. So what I would say is, if there's any questions here, as much as I love to be the expert, I would love to be the expert for you. I am not a financial expert. And so what I would say is, if you're about to go all in, starting a company, purchasing equipment, I would highly encourage you to sit down with an accountant for a financial advisor and work through real numbers from your dealership to figure out the best model for you and how you want to operate your business. Because a lot of it also depends on how you want to operate your business. There are different dynamics at play. And to help you guys out, I am excited on The Dirt. If you guys don't follow Equipment World, I host The Dirt on Equipment World's channel. Literally go to YouTube and just search Equipment World and it should pop up. I host the show The Dirt. On Monday, tomorrow, I'm actually interviewing someone from Cat Finance specifically on this topic about whether you should lease or finance and what the advantages, disadvantages to both are. So I would highly encourage you, give that one a couple weeks before it comes out, just because I have a queue of those episodes as well. But I would highly encourage you to subscribe to that channel, because I will have an interview coming out where we talk specifically about this topic. So stay tuned on that one. Crypto, fuel prices will eat you alive. Man, diesel fuel right now is up. James, love the sample podcast. Listen while machines warmed up Friday morning. Looking forward to it. Thanks for listening, man. I appreciate it. We've got, I think we got 5 episodes out now, James. So maybe 6. I think we just recorded 6. So definitely go and check out the podcast. Podcast would be the better route. I agree, Ambitious. That would, for what you're talking about, that would, and I'll try to do that one. In fact, Rick and I are getting together tomorrow to record a series of podcasts. I will try to record that podcast tomorrow and get it out within the next week or 2 for you, talking specific, because Rick owns his own company. I work for Rick when I go freelance. I work for Rick under his company, and Rick is a super knowledgeable guy. Like, Rick is an asset. I am so happy to have Rick's friendship, not just because he's a great friend, but honestly, he is such a great asset to have with his knowledge and his background. So I will try to get that episode out within the next week or 2 for you, Ambitious. Merrick, what's happening? I'm sorry I'm just now getting to you. I hope you're still around. I hope I haven't lost you because I'm so far behind. Let's see here. How's it going? Sorry I've been MIA. I'll text you this week. Question, why do case excavators have a button on the left of the machine that will let the machine free spin when you spin? Loving the podcast too. Keep it up. Got the wifeless. Woohoo! We even got the wife listening to the podcast. Look at Merrick. He's like killing it, man. Like, we're talking like subscriber of the year content here. Beautiful. I love it. Get me excited. First of all, I am also sorry that I have been MIA, Merrick, because I've meant to reach out to you and talk to you about the possibility of coming down and operating with you guys, but it's been a crazy last 4 or 5 weeks. To answer your question, most excavators, believe it or not, it's not necessarily a button on the left, but they do have a free swing button, which no longer engages that swing brake. There are some guys in the industry that don't like having that swing brake. They want the machine to kind of freely go until they kind of back it off using the swing motor. It's just a personal preference thing. Case just decided to put it on the joystick for whatever reason. I think that's kind of, excuse me, I'm sorry, it's the wine, I'm sorry. I think it's kind of a waste of a button. I think you could put something far more functional that you're going to be using all of the time on the joystick, because realistically looking at it, you either like free swing or you don't. And so you're only going to change that setting one time on the machine, and then you're just going to leave it. It's not one of those, I'm changing all the time. To me, what would be way more convenient is if you put your track speed on the joystick. For me to be able to switch between rabbit and turtle mode with the trigger on my finger, way more beneficial to me than using the free swing versus swing brake. That's just me. So, yeah, I don't know. That's just what I have to say. So, but thanks for listening to the podcast, and tell your wife I said thank you as well. For those of you who don't know, Merrick is down from Ohio. He actually came up, what was that, Merrick? It was like 4 weeks ago or so. We actually went out to lunch with him and his wife. So I actually do know his wife. So tell her genuinely thank you. I do appreciate you guys listening. So, Ryan, we need to have some more people to say yes to pumpkin. Yeah, so that's the thing right now, the no's to the pumpkin carving. Again, we're going to recap one more time. By the way, guys, someone put a line in my comments here It's 9:05. I'm not even close to the end of the comments. Someone draw me a line. I'm going to the line, and then we're out because we got to shut this down. But we are still voting on the do you want me to carve a pumpkin on the next live stream. Put a yes in the comments if you want me to, no if you don't, and then stay tuned next weekend because who knows what the hell's going to happen. But right now we are currently winning on the nose by 1 vote. Let's see here. Doom. Sean, I've had the owner call me and say they're sending me a new guy. He's a supervisor in training to shadow me a bunch of times so they get feedback from me whether he's the right guy. Had an opportunity to do that motocross thing once when I was young. Didn't do it. Wish I had. Okay, I'm sorry. Got a little confused there. So, yes. It is not uncommon, kind of backing up to his first statement there, it is not uncommon for the business to train guys and have them shadow as a super or a foreman. So you don't necessarily have to have foreman experience to apply to a foreman position. If you've got the right credentials and you've got the right attitude, there is a chance you can get hired in and they will train you on the job. That answers that. Had an opportunity to do the motocross thing. I'm kind of the same way with pipeline, with maritime or motocross. If it were a different life and I didn't have my family, I would 100% dive right into that. I think traveling around the country to do any of those things, seeing different parts of the country and really unique perspectives would be incredible. But unfortunately, not unfortunately, I'm very happily married and I love my children. But you know, it's one of those things where you can kind of see that there's this other life that could have been had that would have been a lot of fun too. I wouldn't give this one up, but you know, it would have been fun. It would have been fun. Moving on. DJ Shay. Oh, something just screwed up. Sorry, where did we go? DJ Shay recently took the mechanical aptitude test to get in the apprenticeship program for the Union of Operating Engineers. Any advice for preparing for the potential acceptance? Not really. Honestly, if you took the aptitude test and you passed, like, there's your hurdle. Like, from here, it's literally just pay attention, show up to work, and stay off of your phone, and you'll do great. Like, be willing to work and show up and work some hours, and you're gonna do fantastic. You're gonna do some classroom time, and then you're gonna do on-the-job training, and just get out there and go get it. Like, there's one thing about the trades that is really unique, and it's one of my favorite parts about the trades. How far you go in the trades is 100% up to you and how hard you push. So go after it and you will excel in this industry. That is the best advice I can give you. Let's see here. Dustin Preston, which good to see you, Dustin. It's been a while. Operate a 325 next gen with 3D and it has 5. Ooh, Dustin is bringing in the big swinger with his 325 with 500 hours. Sean fires back with a 336 with 400 hours. My goodness, there are a lot of large dinglings in this chat this evening. I'm getting a little nervous here. I'm not gonna whip it out, guys. I'm sorry, I'm just not. On the OnlyFans, that's a different story. On the OnlyFans, we can have a true measuring contest, but not here, not on YouTube. They frown upon that. They generally frown upon you whipping out your dingling. That's just, from what I've heard. Joel Webb has voted yes. We are now dead even on the pumpkin carving live stream. Oh God, people. We've got to get more no's. Let's see here. Jackson, Brian, I'm proud of myself. I've been paying it forward during our lunch break. Hey, so if you guys don't know what Jackson's talking about when he says pay it forward, we talked about it on the live stream. If you stop at a convenience store or at a grocery store, anywhere really, to drop a deuce, we'll keep it YouTube friendly. If you stop anywhere to drop a deuce, the courteous thing is to pay it forward and purchase something from that convenience store. We do talk about it on the podcast. That's what Jackson is referring to. And I'm proud of you for paying it forward, Jackson, because what kind of people would we be if we just dropped a deuce and ran? I try to raise you guys right to where you do give back. Not just give a crap, but actually give back with your cat. So I'm proud of you. Tim, you don't ever want to live in this godforsaken state. The cost of just living here will kill you along with the taxes. Where are you at, Tim? Is that California? I don't know where you're at. I'm assuming from what you're saying, it's probably California. Mikey, it is a question. So let's run back up to Mikey because wanting to really learn to take the step to get started with your own business and focus on what to advertise and how to find the correct market. So Mikey, I'm sorry, first of all, for not understanding that the first time around. Second thing I'm going to say is that is a relatively complex topic. So what we're going to do is, if you have the ability to listen to podcasts, I'm going to try to put together a down and dirty here relatively soon on it. I'm going to get Rick in here, my buddy, who actually owns a company, and we're going to try to cover this topic. But long form podcast will really be the way to do this, and I'm going to try to record that tomorrow so that we can get it out within the next week or two for you. So go subscribe to the podcast, and this is not me just trying to get you to subscribe to the podcast. Legitimately, this is the best way to have this conversation. Go subscribe to the podcast, Sweat and Grime. I will link it one more time, and here within the next week or two, I promise you I will get out an episode specifically on the topic of starting your own business and trying to find that market, how to get, advertised to the right people and everything. So unfortunately, I just don't have time to really get into that and flesh out that topic tonight because that's a serious topic. Yes, stay tuned on my, sorry guys, again, the brain farts. Sweet Jesus. Sweet.
What? You suck.
Like, this is the way I feel about my brain right now. She's just shutting down on me. Anyway, stay tuned on the Down and Dirties, but you're going to get the podcast much sooner than the Down and Dirty. So absolutely subscribe to Sweat and Grime. Let's see here. You don't ever want to live. Ryan, just found out I got it tomorrow off. Hey, congratulations. Can we all give Ryan a quick applause? He got the day off tomorrow. Well done, Ryan. Well done. You enjoy staying up late, probably watching something inappropriate, maybe on OnlyFans. Who knows? Who knows what Ryan does with his time? But it's not important because he's got the day off tomorrow. Not happy we're getting 3 inches of rain overnight and then all day tomorrow, but I'll take it. It is what it is, Ryan. You know what? Why don't you swing over here and we'll record a podcast together? You know what? You're not that far away, right? What, 2.5, 3 hours? Come on over. You got all day. Jackson, Rick's company is called Anything Outdoors, and it is based out of Howell, Michigan, if you want to go look him up. James, got to run early day. Hey, thanks for hanging out, James. It was good to see you, man. Genuinely. And no on the pumpkin. James, bringing it back. And Mikey, no on the pumpkin. Baby, you guys saved us at the last second. Oh my gosh, I love it. And Phil, I know we're below the line. I'm sorry, guys. This is it. By the way, this is it. The last little bit here. Phil is bringing it back. Phil, I love you because you came in here all the way from Australia and you saved my ass from carving a pumpkin. By God, yet again, Phil, you show up and you help me out. I appreciate it, man. What a brother. What a brother. Let's see here. Speaking of joystick buttons, I just thought of one that might be nice, especially if you're on a home wanting to run, keep track of loads. Button that functions as a counter. Great idea, Chris. I'm telling you, all of us operators could get together and design one hell of a machine for these manufacturers. I'm just saying. But anyway, and Tim is in New Jersey. I've heard some rough things about New Jersey, so we'll just leave it at that. So, hey guys, I really legitimately 100% appreciate you guys showing up tonight. We had a fantastic live stream, ton of new faces. We got guys that are showing up that I haven't seen in a long time. I appreciate it. I am not carving an effing pumpkin next weekend. We'll see what time. You know what? Now that I think about it, we will not have a live stream next week because the more I think about this, my brother-in-law is having a Halloween party that my wife signed me up to go to. I have a costume. It's an inflatable shark. Maybe you'll see an Instagram picture. We'll see what happens. I will not be going live next week because of Halloween, because you guys are probably going to be all out too as well. So we'll catch you guys in 2 weeks on the next live stream. So thank you guys again for hanging out, and we will catch you guys in 2 weeks. Yeah, we'll see you guys.